So why do abs matter so much to women with low back pain? Well, here's why. And I'm Dr. Wendy, I'm a physical therapist. I've taken care of women for 20 years. And here's what you need to know. As you age, you are losing muscle mass. As you have babies, your body goes through trauma. And things don't just spontaneously come back. We have to work to fix what happened. We have to heal our bodies. And yes, it's never too late. You can still heal your abs, but there are many layers to your dysfunction. And your weak abs are causing your chronic low back pain because you see, your abs help you transfer forces between front and back, top to bottom. And if your abs are checked out because you had a baby 10, 15, 20 years ago and you have chronic low back pain, I want you to start working on your abs. And here's what you need to know. Anytime a tissue becomes damaged, it only reaches 80% of its previous strength. So now we have to make sure everything is efficient. So when you had a baby and when you were pregnant, your belly became large and your rectus abdominis, which are the six-pack muscles, separated, and that thin sheath called the linea alba, that thin fascial line, became distorted in not a good way. And then you just carried on. What happened was your brain said, let's go, we got to keep going. So other muscles picked up the slack, specifically your obliques. Those are the muscles on the side. So your obliques become a little over dominant. Then your lower two ribs, which are floating ribs, kind of flare out. So now your waist is wider and you look like SpongeBob SquareWendy because you're walking around with obliques over dominant, flaring your ribs. Meanwhile, as this is happening, it is separating your rectus abdominis even more. When I work with women and I have them sit up on the table, they kind of do this swoop around because they can't straight curl up because their rectus abdominis, which does that flexion, never really rehabbed. But you still can rehab it. You just have to be specific and particular. And one of the first things I have people start with is breathing, relaxing your thoracic spine and dropping those ribs down. Because if I want to strengthen your abs, I want to get your ribs and your pubic bone approximated, closer. And if you're walking around with your back all tight and your ribs all flared, I'm not going to rehab the abs well. So one of the things I start people with is breathing. Take a breath in, blow out. And as you exhale, those lower ribs should drop down. And that's when we contract our abs, our pelvic floor, and add in a curl up. If you're just trying to do 100 sit-ups in the gym, because like in the early 2000s, that's what Britney Spears did to get flat abs, no, that is outdated. I need you to do something else. And yes, you can strengthen your pelvic floor and do a transversus abdominis, but you're gonna have to do some actual sit-ups. You'll actually have to do the motion. Now, there are many other exercises you can do to rehab your abs, such as one of my favorite ones, which is an around the world holding a weight. But I want you not to be afraid of doing a curl up either. And it's a functional motion. Every time you put a dish in the dishwasher, if you put a baby in the car, if you put a baby in the crib, you're doing this flexion motion. When you go to sit up out of bed, when you go to sit up doing anything, those abs are really important for helping you do motions all throughout your day. But they're also a great way to prevent low back pain. Because if your abs are checked out, the thoracolumbar fascia and the erector spinae on the back are going to kick up and guard because they're trying to be helpful because your abs aren't doing what they're supposed to. So if you have low back pain, I would love you to listen to some of my other videos, and I would love you to, if you have the capabilities, to find a physical therapist and find out specifically what is happening with you. But most of the time, people can't go wrong with strengthening their abs. Now, if you have high tone for whatever reason and you have a lot of spasticity in tone, or if you have a lot of pelvic floor tone and pain, this video might not be for you, but a majority of ladies, it is for you. So hit the plus sign and follow for more women's health and wellness tips.